Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. Hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're going to be speaking about Gervonta Davis and Floyd Kid Austin Schofield advancing in negotiations and expecting the fight in the September-October time frame. We're going to be speaking about fight week between Bam Rodriguez and Antonio Vargas. Then, of course, we're going to get into the back and forth that Shakur Stevenson and the Haney's had on social media. But before we get into all of that, if y'all could please hit the like button on the way in, that'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,500 mark, looking to crack that 3,600 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. Shout out to everybody that's been contributing to the nation, You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm going to say shout out to everybody that's been contributing to the channel, man. The super chats, you know what I'm saying? People still buying gifts off of my son's Amazon registry. I really appreciate that very much. His birthday is coming up I keep forgetting whether it's Friday or Saturday. My son's birthday is on a Friday. This Friday coming up. So thank you very much, man. I'm about to have myself a 3-year-old. You know what I mean? Got some big things coming up as well. So please keep me in your prayers. Shout out to everybody that's went ahead and bought my children's book. You know what I mean? Featuring Micah and myself. That's huge. You feel what I'm saying? I definitely feel the love. I definitely feel the support. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to Zai Like Cheetos. What's going on, brother? What's going on? How we feeling? Salute, brother. My boy Agent 86 in the building, man. How we feeling, man? How was y'all day, man? We living, we grinding, we maintaining, man. Gotta stay diligent out here in these streets. Gotta stay resilient out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? My boy Agent 86 said, God bless your son, man. God bless you, brother, man. Thank you for the positive energy. You know what I mean? We need all the positivity we could get, man. Everything that goes on in life, you need all the positivity you could get. So thank you very much, man. Ain't nothing more powerful than prayer. Yes, sir. But we got some things to discuss. My boy Josue Hernandez in the building, man. What's going on? He said, yo, what's good, Mazuma? How your day been? Regular, bro. You know what I mean? You just got, you know what I mean? Like I said, you got to stay resilient. You know what I mean? Just keep moving, bro. It's the only thing you could do. You feel what I'm saying? When life throw bullshit your way, you just got to keep propelling. You feel me? That's what men's supposed to do out here in these streets. You feel me? So, I hope everything's well with you and yours, man. Thanks for asking. My boy Justin Jackson in the building said, Tank not going to fight Lil Scope. Well, according to the reports, it sounds like the negotiations are somewhat promising. Now, I've seen Lance Pugmire speak on this. I guess he's like he's one of the reporters over at Boxing Scene. So, he might, and he's been around for years. You know what I mean? He's one of the biggest writers, in the boxing world. So I'm sure he has some credible sources. But we don't really know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But it does seem like, I'm going to say this. It does seem like things are starting to finally, quiet down for Tank. It seems like he's getting things resolved. That's just what it seems like to me. I don't think he's on the run like he was previously and getting caught up and all of that. It seems like he got some things figured out. Hopefully he is. Hopefully it's not, the same situation that it was previously or worse. Hopefully Tank gets his shit together because, we do want to see him in some big fights. Despite him seeming hesitant about the big fights in the past, I really wouldn't mind seeing him versus Floyd Schofield. I actually think that's a action-packed, entertaining type of fight. Stylistically, when you see what both of these guys bring to the table, it makes me feel like the fight's not going to go the distance. You know what I'm saying? Kid Austin is very inexperienced at a high level. His father banks on, sparring sessions and stuff like that, is saying that his son is the standard because they always contacted him for sparring, when in reality, they could be just reaching out to you because you're good work. You feel what I mean? That doesn't necessarily mean that you're the standard, but that's their opinion. That's what's giving them confidence. And, Kid Austin is coming off of the biggest win of his career against, Tevin Farmer. I picked Kid Austin to defeat Tevin Farmer, but a lot of people were actually picking Tevin Farmer to win just based off of his, highly controversial bouts with the number one contender at the time at 135, William Cepeda. You know what I'm saying? They thought that Kid Austin was a bit too green for this situation. But, he was able to get a first-round knockout over somebody who guys like Jojo Diaz couldn't stop. You know what I'm saying? Guys like William Cepeda couldn't stop despite his high knockout ratio. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. But, this is the article right here. Not the article, but this is the report that I've seen right here. Let's see what Lance Pugmire has to say about this. I believe this is Lance Pugmire. Let the clip roll. Let's go.
The timeline for Gervonta Tank Davis's comeback fight is starting to sharpen and focus with word that a contract has been exchanged between Premier Boxing Champions, which represents Tank Davis, and Golden Boy Promotions, which represents the number one WBA contender, Floyd Schofield Jr. We know that Tank has been off since March 2025 when he was involved in that disputed draw against Lamont Roach Jr. And obviously since then, Tank has been involved in domestic violence issues that have spawned both civil and criminal cases. Now he has to deal with Floyd Schofield Jr., who is just 23 years old, but has known Tank for quite a while. Actually, back in the day, Tank came into the gym that Floyd was working out at and knocked out one of his best friends. So he wants revenge from that. And look, these sides have a couple of weeks before this, the negotiations would prompt a purse bid, which we believe that both sides want to try to avoid the purse bid process. So anyways, what we've been told is that they're looking at a time frame of September into October. It seems to me that October is a more likely date for this fight to go down, but there's been some numbers exchanged. I'm told from both sides are looking upon it favorably. Obviously some work to do, but they feel like a deal can be struck. Check out my story. It's up in Boxing Scene right now. And I wanted to ask you guys, for Gervonta, do you believe that this is a good comeback fight for him? Floyd Schofield Jr., who we know in his last fight knocked out the former champion, Devin Farmer, in Anaheim, but that was also almost a year ago as well. So he's been off for a while too. Let me know what you guys think. All right, have a good one.
Well, that's what Lance Pugmire had to say. You heard what he said. You know what I'm saying? Now the question that he had followed up with, or at least closed out with, was, is Kid Austin a good comeback fight for Gervonta Davis? Great question. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. Gervonta Davis is coming off of a layoff, right? Cool. However, it does seem like despite all of Gervonta Davis's issues, it's not like when we've seen him in the past when he's completely out of shape. You know what I'm saying? Eating, chilling with Broner, drinking, all that bullshit. It seems like he's keeping his weight in check. It seems like he's living the disciplined lifestyle. For what I understand, he's been in the gym for a while now, keeping himself sharp. So it's not a situation where he's just completely rusty or he's completely lost it. I think and I'm not like the biggest, I think ring rust can be a thing, but I think that pretty much is neutralized when a fighter stays in the gym. That's just what I've noticed. You feel what I'm saying? But besides all of that, Kid Austin is green. I don't give a fuck how many people he sparred. I don't care, how many world champions he shared the ring with to get ready for world title fights. It's nothing that necessarily equates to, that actual fight, man. This is when the mental warfare starts to kick in, because when them lights are as bright as can be, and you got thousands of people in the building to watch you perform, it's a different type of pressure. I mean, when you're in a sparring session, you might have some gym members in there, you might have some fighters in there, you might have, certain people's teams in there, whatever the case is. But for the most part, it's a more relaxed, comfortable setting because you're in the gym all the time. It's not very often that you're in big fights, unless you're an absolute superstar, unless you're like a Floyd Mayweather. But even Floyd Mayweather had a boxing, small settings and gradually build himself up to the bright lights to get accustomed to it. You know what I'm saying? So because Kid Austin is coming off of a long layoff, I think it's about to be a year since he knocked Devin Farmer out. Time definitely flies, but he was supposed to come back for Jojo Diaz, sustained a hand injury, wasn't able to get back in the mix right away. So he's coming off of a layoff just like Gervonta Davis. It's coming up on a year for Floyd Schofield. It's coming up on, it's been a year and some change since Gervonta Davis came back. We talking 15 months. So Gervonta Davis is coming off of a significantly longer layoff, but regardless, a layoff's a layoff, especially when we get into a year plus. So I think that's a good comeback fight for Gervonta Davis. Not only that, it's not necessarily a tune-up. I don't think Kid Austin's a tune-up. We'll see. But I don't think Kid Austin's a tune-up. Kid Austin has some dangerous qualities about himself. He got some good speed. He's explosive. You know what I mean? He puts his punches together. He comes in pretty good shape. He's a dog. He got heart. He definitely got heart. And he got some thunder in them gloves, man. That kid got some power. And he got some good finishing ability too. So Gervonta Davis is going to have to be, he has experience with big punches, and we see when Gervonta is in there with big punches, he's a lot more calculated. He's a lot more responsible. You know what I'm saying? Besides like the Frank Martin fight, I think he just had his mind psyched out. That's what I think. But whenever he's been in there with big punchers like Rolly Romero, Isaac Cruz, even if you want to consider Ryan Garcia, he's always moved in a calculated fashion. A real disciplined approach defensively. And I could see Gervonta Davis doing the same thing, just being cautious, keeping his hands in the right place, just making sure he doesn't get hit clean by one of them shots with some 8-ounce gloves on. That could be a devastating situation. Because a lot of people had this misconception that because somebody's a big puncher that they can't get knocked out. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I know Gervonta Davis will always be in a fight because he has that one-punch knockout power, but that doesn't mean he can't fall victim to a knockout shot as well. So I think Kid Austin presents some difficulties, because he is going to be bigger than Tank. He's younger than Tank. He's more youthful, more energetic, I guess you would say. Comes in phenomenal shape. And he could pack a punch too. So it's definitely something for Gervonta Davis to look at and strategize properly for. However, I do think due to, Kid Austin's tendencies of being overly aggressive, I do think him being inexperienced at a high level and, not fighting any notable names at a high level in a professional setting, I just don't see how Kid Austin pulled this off. I think that he has a puncher's chance. I think I think that's the only chance he has is, clipping Gervonta Davis. Outside of that, if we're talking about a chess match, I think Gervonta Davis has shown to be the more intelligent fighter. You know what I mean? I think if they really get the thinking in there, you know what I mean, and they go on IQ for IQ, I can see Gervonta Davis dominating this one. I can see Kid Austin, getting desperate, getting frustrated, and trying to make something happen and running into a shot like Rolly Romero did. You know what I'm saying? I could really see Gervonta setting up a big shot and Kid Austin getting absolutely starched or, wobbling pretty bad. And we know when Gervonta Davis got something on the line, he always seemed to reel that bitch in. AKA, he knows how to finish a fight when he gets somebody hurt. So it's a good comeback fight for Gervonta Davis. You feel what I'm saying? It's been a while, and if they saying he's coming back in the September-October area, then it's close to a 2-year layoff since he's been out. It's what, 15 months right now? We in June, July, August, September, October. You talking about an 18-month layoff, a year and a half? You talking about a year and a half? You know what I'm saying? So why not? Why not? I don't see what's the issue with the fight happening. The Schofield's been barking, acting like they the real deal, and that they could beat. They've been saying they're gonna knock out Tank for the longest. You know what I'm saying? That's just what they believe. That's what they've been putting out there for the universe to hear. So now y'all gotta back that shit up. Pause. Y'all gotta back that shit up. And I heard that they don't want it to get to a purse bid. That's understandable. Because whenever it's a purse bid, these sanctioning bodies determine who's getting what percentage of the split, and you know what I mean. If they're able to negotiate behind the scenes to get a more favorable split, then I would say fuck the purse bid too. You know what I mean? If we could avoid the purse bid, and it seems like that clock is ticking on that purse bid. By the way, I think we coming up what they got like 15, 14 days left. So just based off of that, yeah, hopefully, they get this situated outside of the purse bid so they can get more favorable splits. We know Gervonta Davis is about his money. He said that he claims that's all he ever is about. You know, he don't care about belts. He don't care about legacy. He just cares about getting to that money. And Floyd Schofield and them, they made it clear that they're about the money. You know what I'm saying? That's all they seem to ever talk about. You know, coming from poverty, coming from homelessness, I definitely understand it. You know, they also want to prove that they're the greatest of all times, according to their words, but they're not willing to, take risks for chump change. You know what I mean? They are very business oriented. So I could see that I could see that being, negotiated outside of a purse bid, and most likely that's going to be the fight. According to reports. So we'll see. Gervonta Davis doesn't fight him. I don't see who he really fights next. I don't see him fighting, any of the champions at 135 right now. I don't see him fighting anybody at 140. Just seems like everybody's occupied. They're saying Eastside Cruz about to lock in a fight with, Gary Antoine Russell, which is a phenomenal fight stylistically. That's fight of the year type style matchup right there. Fight of the year candidate type style matchup. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, man. And Gervonta Davis gives that young dude an opportunity. That's dope. That lets me know that Gervonta Davis does care about belts to an extent, because if he didn't really care too much for belts, he could be like, man, you can have this belt and not fight him. So, if he's following through with a obligation, if he as a champion, then you can't say that he doesn't care about belts to an extent. He might not, value it or cherish it as much as the average fighter, but if you're fulfilling if you're fulfilling mandatory as the champion, you care about that belt to an extent. So that's just my take on the whole situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, you know what I mean? Let me see what the people are saying out here. My boy Justin Jackson said, according to Senior, Kid Austin is a gym warrior. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. You know what I mean? There's a lot of them. But the problem is, and I'm not saying that this is Schofield and them, they rose to the occasion with that Tevin Farmer fight. They were heavily doubted going into that fight. There's a lot of people who, look like world champions in the gym, and then when they get underneath them lights, they lay an egg. You know what I mean? They're not the same. Their abilities aren't the same. I forgot that one dude name, but he calls himself like the sparring king. Some dude from out Las Vegas. But every time I've ever seen him perform against quality guys under the lights, he don't perform the same. He'll whoop your ass in sparring, though. So that just lets you know that there's a difference, because if sparring and boxing were the same, then a lot of these dudes that be whooping ass in the gym will be whooping asses on the big stage. But it doesn't always seem to correlate. You got some fighters who, are able to treat both settings the same. Like, David Benavidez, he been whooping ass for years. He whooping ass in the ring today. Jerron Ennis, he always seems to be whooping ass in the gym, and, he whooping ass in the ring today. He might possibly do it June 27th as well. But I also know a lot of people who, I'm trying to tell you, gym fighters. There was one dude, I'm not going to say his name because he passed away. But there was this dude from Philadelphia, back when I was training out in the county and shit like that, that this dude, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I seen him like really go at it with Jerron Ennis. I'm not saying he got off on Jerron Ennis, that definitely wasn't the case. But I'm saying like really keeping up with him, like really going toe to toe, blow for blow with this nigga, like really getting to it. And I'm like, yo, this nigga, like, and he loved it. Like, he loved the work. Like, he loved to smoke whenever it was sparring. And he would spar anybody. This nigga would give anybody work. Anybody work. But every time this dude fought, it's like he froze up in there. And he would lose the guys who were terrible. Like, guys that I feel like in my heart I would beat. Like, right now. Out of shape. Like, it just... I never really understood it. So that just lets you know from a mental aspect, people approach that shit totally different. Sparring is a more comfortable setting when you got bigger gloves and headgear, and you know what I mean? You got all this protective wear, and you don't have to deal with, the crowd and, pleasing fans, like, your people not really watching because they never really in the gym with you unless they are part of your team. I'm trying to tell you, I'm gonna say this. If sparring at boxing was the same, Philly would have double the world champions that they have today. Philly got so many gym warriors, so many sparring kings, but they never seem to get to the lights and perform the same. And that's some real shit. That's some real shit. Just Ruben Patterson, the Kobe stopper, practice legend. Well, I guess that applies to different sports as well, huh? Crazy how that shit works. That lets you know a lot of this sports shit is mental. That's why we talk about the lights being too bright. Jibo, that's a fact. So we gonna see exactly what the Schofield's made of. They talk a good game. They talk a good fight. You know what I'm saying? But this y'all time to show it. If y'all find y'all way out of this one and try to make some type of excuse, because y'all seem to be so into the WBA. You know what I mean? You had lawyers, approach the WBA and you were reciting their rules to them and was basically threatening to sue these niggas if they didn't give y'all an opportunity. So if y'all did all of that and then pull out, start citing some type of money issue, or you know what I mean, y'all pull out with another injury, we already know what time it is with the Schofields. They're already on thin ice just based off how the way they moved in previous fights. They pulled out a more memorable fight. They done pulled out a more big fights than they've been in memorable fights. Like it's ridiculous at this point. Y'all claim that, you know what I mean, Kid Austin was poisoned and for the Shakur fight, but then y'all niggas was in the gym shortly after the fight. Y'all pulled out of the Lucas Body fight. Y'all pulled out of the JoJo Diaz fight. It's like, yeah, every time y'all seem to get an opportunity, if something's, just slightly off in camp, you're just so quick to pull them out. And to me, that's somebody who, scared money. That's somebody who, you know what I mean, don't really believe in their product how the way they talk. You feel what I'm saying? That's why you can't really believe a lot of these dudes' words, in the boxing world, because they'll tell you one thing, but their actions show a totally different situation. You know what I'm saying? I done heard Floyd Schofield Sr. Talk about lighting niggas up, and he went to jail for all this shit and claimed to be so gangster, and you know what I'm saying? But then I've seen niggas press him in person, and he be on his best behavior. So it's like, if you this killer, bro, you got to be that killer. Like, if you really a killer, be that killer. Then when niggas is pressing you, you over here, you talking real nice and polite, and then you going on live talking about he was a kid. You know what I mean? Nah, these niggas is grown men, bro. So we're gonna see what the Schofields is on. If they try to find a way out of this situation, because I felt like they was acting scary with the Shakur fight from the very beginning. Talking about them getting their tires sliced and signature pages getting ripped out of their passport, and them going to like the Ring Magazine Awards was like a distraction, and they trying to keep y'all out of the gym. Like y'all came up with so many conspiracy theories on some schizophrenic shit. How schizophrenics see shit and it's not really going on. Like, that's the vibes that shit gave me. And I think he ultimately, I think from the very beginning he was looking for a way out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what I think. I think that that was the foundation to ultimately pull out of the fight. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all say y'all got toxology reports, and you know what I'm saying? And then when y'all got the toxology reports, it was after y'all came back from the fight. Where was the toxology reports while y'all was hospitalized out in Riyadh? Don't they give y'all niggas paperwork when y'all, I don't know, like, if y'all ever been hospitalized before, they do give y'all exit papers, right? I don't know what it's like in Riyadh, but I'm assuming a lot of these hospitals follow the same protocol. They usually give you, exit papers, and they tell you what you was diagnosed with. You know what I mean? They give you a short summary on everything that you went through while being there. Where's the results at? I'm sure they tested you while they was over there. You're in the hospital. You're hospitalized. I'm sure they doing blood work while you're there to see what's going on with you. But he wants us to follow a toxology report that they did out in Texas. well after the Shakur Stevenson fight. Okay. Not saying that he's a liar. Maybe he did get poisoned. But some shit just not adding up to me. That's not concrete evidence to me. My boy Tricks in the Builder said, does your perspective change on the Schofields if they do take on Tank? The fight is very tough for Kid Austin. No doubt it's a tough fight. No doubt it's a tough fight. But to be honest with you, I don't think my perspective will really change on the Schofields if they do fight Tank. Because first of all, you know what I'm saying? They ain't really got shit to lose. I'm gonna keep it real with you. They don't really got shit to lose. You know, they're young. Kid Austin's very young. He got a lot of time to grow in the game. You know, if he loses, they're gonna be like, oh, we young, we took the chance, blah, blah, blah. They always bring up how they came from, homelessness and poverty and all that. So they're gonna be doing their little, same shit Edgar Berlanga did when he lost to Canelo. They're gonna be doing their little, what they call it, like little parade. These little participation parades and shit like that. Oh, well, I fought Tank. And, let's say the fight gets stopped like the 10th. Well, we went 10 rounds with Tank, one of the best fighters in the world. They're going to find a way to try to get a participation award out of that situation, to be honest with you. And nobody's really going to critique. The only one who will probably catch hell is Auntie Scope because the son don't really be running his mouth. His father do. But also, kind of like with Brian Norman Sr., when Brian Norman Sr., when Devin Haney beat Brian Norman Jr., wasn't really getting, taxed like that. It was really the father that they was coming at because he was the one running his mouth. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what'll happen. You know what I mean? Kid Schofield, he'll come back. You know what I mean? They bought that money, so they going after the money. And they keep bragging about that deal they just signed with Golden Boy and all that. And I think they try and cash out. I think they try to get to that bread quick, and then after they get that learning experience, then they'll come back and build their record up some more and try to cash out on another fight. If you're 23, 24 years old, why wouldn't you take a possible 7-figure payday to fight somebody of quality? If you come up short, you still got most of your, you got your early 20s, your mid 20s, your late 20s. Your early 30s, your mid 30s to go ahead and proceed through boxing. So, I don't think it's, nothing really changes with Floyd Schofield to me if he loses a Tank. I don't think his stock diminishes, none of that. I feel like the only way he'll take an L or like really, not literally, not figuratively, like if he takes an L would be if he quit. Now, if you just go ahead, if you get hit by Tank and then you just quit, that'll diminish anybody's reputation. Sway say, yo, Mazuma, do you think Vargas could give Bam any problems? I watch Antonio Vargas just a little bit. I've seen a lot of holes in his game, but I need to study the best version of Antonio Vargas to date so I could really give you the proper assessment. I haven't really been doing all that much studying on Antonio Vargas yet. You know what I mean? I've just been watching. I've really been locked in with Xander and Boots. I ain't gonna lie. I've been watching a lot of Xander film, watching Boots. And at this point, I think I'm like maxed out with the studying that I've seen. I don't watch, all of their biggest fights, just going through the rounds, seeing what they had success with, what they, fall victim to, you know what I mean? And I'm just trying to, visualize both of them being in the ring with those qualities and seeing how the way it goes. And I ain't gonna lie, the more I visualize, the more confident I get that Boots is going to stop Xander. But we'll never know. I could do all the visualizing in the world and be completely wrong. Yeah. Justin said, Berlanga, the only nigga I know that be high spirits after 2 losses. I guess that's a good thing. Not really. I'm not saying that you be upset after a loss, but when you make up excuses as to why you lost to like enable your delusion, I don't think that's cool. You feel what I'm saying? I think that with losses needs to come accountability and realizations. I think that Edgar Berlanga, because his ego is so big, especially after getting that Canelo Alvarez fight, he acts like he's unable to be vulnerable to anything. Like everything has a built-in excuse now. So when he lost to Canelo, he was like, oh, well, I went toe-to-toe with Canelo for 12 rounds. I didn't get knocked out. I came up off the canvas, blah, blah, blah. Bro, you got dominated. You got embarrassed. That was easy money for Canelo. He knew you was easy money. That's why he treated you like the fucking cherry pick that you was. But because you got paid and all of that, you got upset that Puerto Rico wasn't backing you. Bro, you didn't give Puerto Rico nothing to support. You didn't do anything in boxing. You were a cherry pick. You gave the Puerto Rican people no reassurance whatsoever that you would come out with some type of victory against Canelo. So why would they invest into you? That's like somebody getting upset because you're not putting money behind their business, but they never shown you the potential return that they could get from their investment. Why the fuck will we believe in you if you haven't showed us that you're capable of performing at that level when Canelo has been at the top of the fucking game for fucking well over, about to be 2 decades. About to be 2 decades if it hasn't been already. Like, come on, bro. Cut it out. So Berlanga gets schooled by Canelo, gets knocked down, beat up, you know what I mean, running in the air, he punched Canelo throws, and then he wants to be celebrated. That's delusion right there in itself. Him and Teofimo operate very similarly. And I'm not trying to say that this is a Brooklyn thing, but these New York niggas be tripping. Definitely be tripping. And then when he loses to Hamza Shiraz, he gets embarrassed because he got knocked out. He got knocked out bad in his hometown. Niggas don't even be peeping that shit. This nigga got knocked out in his hometown. Like how J-Rock got knocked out in Philly by Jason Rosario and all, like that. But I didn't hear J-Rock make any excuses. He went back into the lab and he did what he could with the time that he had. I seen Edgar Berlanga, whose ego was bruised. He was embarrassed, frustrated, upset, getting knocked out in front of his people in his hometown. Nigga had Fat Joe walk him out, and Fat Joe just watched this nigga tumble. He needed to come up with something in order to put that ice pack over his ego, man. So what did he come up with? Wild-ass accusations. I know that you're Puerto Rican. I know Cotto may have possibly gotten done dirty with the raps by Margarito, but you're not Cotto. It wasn't that situation. You're not Cotto, not that situation. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. No, Anonymous, that's facts. His ego was shattered. You could tell, bro. I think that happens to the best of us, man. But eventually you gotta wake up and be like, yo, nigga, like you tripping, bro. Like, I guess, man, we gotta know how to take losses. You feel what I'm saying? I already know what that is. I'm going through that shit right now. You know what I mean? You make your bed, you gotta lay in it. If you fucking around, you gonna find out. And you gotta deal with whatever comes with that shit. You did all that talking. You made it seem like Hunter Shiraz wasn't on your level. You know what I'm saying? He hit you with some hot shit. You couldn't take it. After you said that a Mack truck could hit your chin and you ain't going nowhere, nigga, that must have been a motherfucking that shit must have been a motherfucking F-16 that hit your shit. You know what I mean? Because if a Mack truck can't move you, that shit did. So whatever the fuck heavier than a Mack truck, nigga, that shit hit your chin and you couldn't take it. You got hurt as soon as he hit you clean. And everybody people was already questioning your chin because you was getting stopped by 154 niggas in sparring when you was a 168. You was getting dropped all ugly in the amateurs with big ass gloves on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we knew that was bound to happen. We knew that was bound to happen. But you know what I mean? That happened in a moment where you were supposed to shine the brightest and you didn't. And you had a lot of advantages going up against Hunter Shiraz. Hometown advantage. You know what I mean? Nigga, you was the main event in your city. You know what I mean? You had a nigga coming up in weight, so you were naturally the bigger guy. And the nigga made you look minuscule. Oh man, he ain't ever take his wraps off. He ain't ever take his gloves off in the ring, bro. What the fuck does that mean? I've seen plenty of people leave the ring with their gloves on, and then get them taken off backstage. Seen it happen plenty of times. Sometimes, if your team is fast enough, you could get your gloves off. Not only that, but if they're even quicker than that, if they're quicker than usual, they could probably cut your reps off before they raise your hand. But other times when you caught up in the moment, you know what I'm saying? They might end up having their gloves on until they go to the back. It was only one hand. Maybe they only had enough time to get one hand out. But you know what's crazy? Berlanga doing all these accusations. Your team was supposed to watch Hamza's reps get wrapped to make sure they're in accordance with New York State Athletic Commission. Not only that, but the inspector. See, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Every state athletic commission has inspectors, right? New York is one of the strictest ones. They're the ones who made Tito Trinidad rewrap his hands for the Bernard Hopkins fight. They go through a strict protocol. They don't play that shit, right? So they're watching, and they'll make you rewrap your hands. They don't give a fuck how big the fight is. They don't give a fuck how much time it is. Bro, they will make you rewrap your hands if it's not in accordance with the state athletic commission. So not only that, but I've seen it multiple times in the amateurs and the pros. The inspectors, you know what I mean? They ask for your reps. You give them you show them your reps. They make sure that there's no tape on the skin, aka stacking, and make sure none of that is going on. You know what I mean? They're touching the pads to make sure that these are fresh pads and not no worn out Jones like Antonio Margarito had. You know what I mean? They made sure everything. They made sure everything was in accordance. Made sure everything was in accordance. And they signed off on it. So what room is there to at this point have illegal raps? If your team was watching it and the commission went ahead, supervised it, and approved it, where is their opportunity to have illegal raps? Margarito got caught. Yeah, he had some foul shit going on with his raps, but guess what? He got caught. Why? Because Shane Mosley's team was watching the fucking raps, aka Brother Nazem, rest in peace. If your team let him walk out that arena with illegal raps, your team did you dirty. Your team did you a disservice. You need to reevaluate your team. Simple. But when you lack accountability, you don't even think of those type of things. You just want to point the finger, you know what I mean, so you can feel better when you cry after you cry at night. Nothing wrong with crying. But you gotta approach it with some sort of accountability, man. Trick said instead of Berlanga doing a professional investigation, he's dropping Latin trap music. Listen, man, Berlanga and Ryan Garcia are very similar in the terms of having this infatuation with being, famous. There's a lot of people be like, oh, I don't want to be famous. I don't like being famous, blah, blah. There's people who love it. There's people that love the attention. There's people that love getting recognized. There's people that love being in front of the cameras and people knowing who they are. Like that shit really how can I say this? It really drives their ego. I mean, a lot of these niggas, man, they need their ego to be all the way to fuck up here in order to feel good about themselves. You know what I'm saying? And Berlanga, you could tell like he just won't be he just want to be famous so bad. He want to be well known so bad. You know what I mean? Like he came up around Fat Joe and Lil Wayne was cool with him and so he been around the music industry and he see the type of attention they get and he want that. Ryan Garcia, you know what I mean? Ryan Garcia, this nigga in Japan right now, wilding. Meanwhile, they talking about they about to announce him and Conor Ben fighting. Not focused at all. What is he doing? Streaming his life away. Why? Because he finds more joy in streaming and being a celebrity rather than being in the gym and being this championship level boxer that he's supposed to be. Some people love the fame, bro. Some people love the recognition. They love the attention. Man, they real similar in that way. I'm surprised they don't link up and stream together. Berlanga love that shit. Bounce Back said it should have been Berlanga versus Adames anyway. Shiraz was gifted a draw. Man, listen, bro. Listen. Bounce Back. If Adames and Berlanga fought, Adames would have beat the dog shit out of Berlanga. Would have stopped him too. Would have stopped him. Adames is a different type of monster. It's going to take somebody really good to beat him. And I know he lost to Teixeira back in the day. Yeah, that was at 54. That was a different time frame. This nigga Adames in a different zone right now. Leave Adames the fuck alone. That nigga is feeling himself. He want the smoke. He going after Osleys Iglesias. A lot of people that niggas feel like is very dangerous at super middleweight right now. He going right into the smoke. They talking about they negotiating right now. That nigga, nah. And Berlanga, no, Berlanga, he pop all that big shit, but he know he ain't, there's certain fights that, a little bit too much for him. You know what I mean? Like Adama is smaller than Berlanga. Adama is gonna be a small super middleweight, but the skill set, the speed, he gonna break Berlanga the fuck up, bro. Berlanga's IQ not there. That's gonna be the difference between them, the ring intelligence. Berlanga got good speed, got good power. He big, he strong, but he ain't smart. He lacked the IQ. That's what's wrong with Berlanga. He has some good abilities, but the mind don't match up with the physical attributes, in my opinion. Trick said, I thought that Berlanga and Ryan wouldn't be champion. I think Berlanga will never touch a title. I don't see Edgar Berlanga winning the title. He can't make 160. That's for one. 68, too much fucking gas up there right now, bro. Osleys Iglesias, Christian and Billy. You still got Canelo around. Who's the other champion? He can't beat none of them. I'm gonna keep it. Lester Martinez. He can't beat none of them top contenders. Diego Pacheco. I don't think he beat Diego Pacheco. I don't think he beats Hamza Shiraz. Already got knocked out by him. I just don't see who he doesn't beat anybody at 68. Do we have to talk about light heavyweight? Do we have to talk about? No, he's not beating Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia would probably do him. Jaime Munguia would do Berlanga super dirty. Like that'll be like a different type ass whooping. Munguia don't give a fuck. Munguia, yeah, Berlanga could probably clip Munguia, but Munguia gonna be punching on Berlanga, and it's not gonna be hard to find Berlanga at all. And Jaime Munguia done been sparked before, yes, but I think he's more durable than Edgar. Caleb Plant, I don't know where Caleb Plant with it right now, bro. I don't know. Like he looked burnt out. So maybe Caleb Plant boxes his fucking face off. I don't know. Maybe he could beat Caleb. Maybe. No, I didn't ETC. I didn't say that you said he would beat Munguia. I just saw the name Munguia and I was just like, shit, I forgot. I don't know how the fuck I forgot about him because Munguia will beat the shit out of Edgar Berlanga. Bad. Stylistically, that's bad. 175, we ain't gotta talk about that, bro. We all know what David would do to Berlanga. David wanted that Berlanga smoke at one point. Berlanga ain't never looked his fucking way. He went and got Canelo instead because it was a nice price tag on it. Jamal Charlo would fuck him up. I think Charlo half-ass and will beat Berlanga ass. I'm gonna keep it real. He'll break him up, bro. Berlanga punch resistance ain't like that. Jamal is very strong, man. He's a much more intelligent and skilled than Edgar, and defensively responsible too. Berlanga not sneaky with his punches to throw off, Jamal timing and shit like that. Like, nah. Hot Rod could beat Berlanga, maybe. I gotta watch Hot Rod a little bit more, but you know what I mean? Like Dimitri Bivol and Berlanga, come on, that's ridiculous. Artur better be even Berlanga, come on, that's ridiculous. So I said all of that to say, where the fuck is this nigga gonna win a world title at? He's not winning no world title. He won't be known like he's gonna be the butt of a lot of these niggas' jokes, bro. I'm gonna keep it real. Ryan Garcia, for real, nigga is a underachiever to the fucking max. Nigga just won a world title. And you happen to win a world title with the weakest champion that I can recall. Mario Barrios is one of the weakest champions that I've ever seen. Like, definitely of this era. Like, ass. Like, nigga, like you up there with like Charles Martin. Like you up there with him. Like you up there with like I'm not even gonna disrespect K9. I'm not gonna say Cornelius Bundridge. No, Cornelius was better than you. Lewis Crocker is worse. I don't think so. Mario and Crocker tied. Well, the verdict's still out on Lewis Crocker. We gotta see. Because what if he go ahead and he fuck Leon Paro up? Then what? We still gonna have that settlement? I don't think so. The verdict's still out on Lewis Crocker. The verdict is still out on Lewis Crocker. But I said the reason why I said that, this nigga Barrios got dropped in like the first 10 seconds of the Ryan Garcia fight. This nigga throwing wide ass right hooks, and you just, and I think he threw the same combination before that. Nigga, like, why is you just sitting there taking these punches? Ugas beat Pac-Man. Come on, we can't do that. Barrios beat Ugas after Errol Spence broke his orbital. All Barrios did was re-injure the orbital. Shout out to Ugas. I heard he fought. I seen he fought last weekend after that long layoff. Vic Star, what up? Left Hand Monty, what up? What's going on? How we feeling? But like, bro, this nigga, yeah, y'all not even giving Crocker a chance to defend. That's what I'm saying. Like, let the nigga try. Barrios is top tier ass. Like, and what like Barrios, it was so crazy was Mario was a fucking beast. That's what's so disappointing about Mario Barrios. When this nigga was coming up, bro, I seen him with my own eyes. Like when he first came up on the PBC, like y'all niggas don't even know. They used to call him the Golden Boy. They used to call him the Golden Boy, bro. The nigga was so fucking sharp. He fought somebody that I know pretty well. His name is Mario Barrios fought a nigga from Philadelphia. Damn, bro. That's crazy. I be sitting Naeem Nelson. He fought a nigga by the name of Naeem Nelson. Now that fight ended up getting stopped because I think Naeem injured his shoulder or something. But from there, I was like, yo, this nigga Barrios sharp as shit. Bro, when he was at 140, he was stepping on shit. Bro, Mario Barrios, one of the biggest ass whoopings that I've ever seen to this date was when Mario Barrios fought that motherfucking white boy. I forgot his name. Let me go look at his name real quick. Bro, if you want to watch a good old-fashioned ass whooping, bro, go watch him versus Ryan Carl, bro. Jesus Christ. If you want to see a good fucking fight, go watch him versus Akhmadov. That nigga broke Mario Barrios' orbital and everything. That nigga kept rumbling, kept dropping Akhmadov. Bro, that was such a great fucking fight. That Mario Barrios would have gave Ryan Garcia all types of gas. But something happened between the Gervonta Davis and the Keith Thurman fight where he was never the same. To be real, I started to see him really dwindle because, he took a lot of punishment against Keith, but he still was getting wins and all of that. He beat Ugas and, eventually he was elevated to the champion. I think that Abel Ramos fight is where he has some type of burnout. I don't know. Barrios is food at 154. He better leave all them alone. Don't be surprised because Barrios talking about he going up in weight. Don't be surprised if Barrios end up fighting like Jermell Charlo or something, and they line him. Don't be surprised at all. Jermell need a fight. Hell, you want to fight Mario Barrios? Then he gonna just go ahead and spark him. That'd be ugly, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. Because Jermell got to be desperate at this point. Like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I need to fight. Y'all niggas playing. They just got him sitting on the sideline. Trick said Abel Ramos fight maybe doesn't look as bad for Mario Barrios because Abel beat that Philly fighter. Well, one don't got anything to do with the other. Tamir Smalls is not, shout out to Ty, but Tamir Smalls is not Mario Barrios. You know what I mean? They're saying, Mario Barrios actually had a world title around his waist. You know what I'm saying? Like, one don't got anything to do with the other. Abel Ramos should have lost to Mario Barrios. Simple. Mario Barrios faded. He got dropped. He getting punched on. You know what I'm saying? I knew Ty was I knew that was going to be an uphill battle for Ty because he lacked an experience. I knew Abel was going to do his thing. Ty ain't never been there. Ty fought a lot of local Philly fighters that, not fighters from Philly, but he fought on a lot of local cards against random guys in Philly. Like, that was too big of a step for him. He didn't have enough maturity to get into that type of fight. To fight somebody like Abel Ramos, you gotta, you gotta build yourself to that point. That's not something you just go right towards when you're fighting guys who are not giving you any type of resistance. Let me see. Abel might get that Rolly fight in August. I wouldn't be surprised because they talking about Rolly about to get a light touch. That Catterall keep calling him a duck and shit like that. Wouldn't be surprised at all if Rolly got that Abel Ramos fight and then, Rolly gonna beat Abel. Too big, too strong, too explosive. Abel gonna be there for a lot of them big shots. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. You might have just predicted something right there, Monty. I ain't gonna lie. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Let me see. Bounce Back said, who you got, Cepeda versus Roach? I spoke on this, and I guess we'll see as the fight gets closer, because I like to pay attention to where these guys' mentalities are. And I feel like if Roach takes it upon himself to be macho and step to Cepeda and try to push him back and, just stay in the pocket with him, I think Cepeda going to outwork him. Everybody keep picking Roach, and I understand why. Roach is the more skilled fighter. You know what I mean? He's the more talented guy. He has the tools necessary to beat Cepeda. Cepeda's a one-dimensional fighter. I get it. But more than skill comes the, more than just as important, if not more important than skill, is the mentality. And Roach has been fucking himself over in these last couple of fights by one, fighting at his opponent's level and not stepping it up to the next gear. Two, using his heart more than his brain. If Roach is like, you know what, because Roach the type nigga that, like I said, you could have a, let's say we cooking, right? I bring up a lot of cooking analogies for a nigga who don't cook. But regardless, let's just bring up a cooking analogy, right? You're going to make some chicken Alfredo and you have the recipe right in front of you to make the best chicken Alfredo that the world could offer. All you got to do is follow the instructions. Roach the type nigga to ball them motherfucking instructions up, throw them out, and try to do it a whole different way. That's how Roach likes to approach shit. Roach is real ego-driven when he's in that ring. Oh, you think, like he got this little man complex. He's like, yeah, I'm small, but I'm stronger than you, though. I'm going to prove that I'm stronger than you. You feel what I'm saying? Like his whole shit is just proving shit to you. How about fuck proving shit to people? The only thing you need to prove is that you better than this nigga. So why don't you try to prove that? Fuck trying to prove that you stronger than him. Fuck trying to prove that you could take a punch better than him. Trying to fuck the fact that you're trying to prove that you're more durable than him, that you're more macho. Bro, you got balls. That's cool. We know that. You gangster in there. We know that. You could take a shot. All right, we know that. Tank didn't stop you. Fucking Isaac Cruz didn't stop you, even though he knocked you down. Like we know you built like that. So show us something else. Show us that you're actually intelligent. Show us that you can actually outbox somebody. Does he have the qualities to beat William Cepeda? Yes. Do I want him to beat William Cepeda? Yes. But if he has that same mentality that he brought into that Isaac Cruz fight, which is very frustrating in my opinion, because I see the skills, I see the ability, but I don't see the mentality to go along with it. So if he goes ahead, he tries to prove that, because he the type nigga to be like, man, nigga, William Cepeda throw 100 punches around, I'm going to throw 100 punches around too. He always tries to mimic motherfuckers that he's in the ring with. When you don't have to do that, be yourself. If you know how to do that. Otherwise, I can see William Cepeda stealing rounds. Because another thing that he does, he lets people get off. I watched Isaac Cruz. I seen a close round, one of the close rounds in the fight. Thank Father, what up? Out of power, what up? I seen a close round, right? They going back and forth. They're going back and forth, back and forth. Then I seen like the last 30 seconds of a round. He's in a defensive stance. And Isaac Cruz throws like a 6 to 8 punch combination. Boom, 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 boom. Closed out the round strong. This nigga Roach blocks a lot of those shots, but he throws nothing back. And then like goes back to his corner shaking his head like he didn't hit me. Nigga, we know. So what? So what? So look at it from the judge's perspective, right? Because I feel like a lot of people don't do that. You're watching the fight. You see that it's a 50-50 round the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the round. They going tit for tat. Then this motherfucker Lamont Roast decides to shell up. Isaac gets confident, throws a combination, and he probably only landed like one punch that whole sequence. But guess what? Because you didn't throw anything, the only thing that they're going to base that round off of is what Isaac Cruz did. And your inability to respond to that. So they're going to give Isaac Cruz that round. Now, imagine that type of work rate that he had in that situation, but it being 100 punches around. Trying to tell you, he's sitting in the pocket with William Cepeda. Unless he knocks William Cepeda out with a counter, he's not going to beat Cepeda in the shootout. He's not. Cepeda's too fucking active, and Lamont not built like that to be keeping up volume wise with William Cepeda. Can he land the cleaner punches? Yes. Can he land shots that could hurt William Cepeda? Yes. But there's a possibility he might not be able to hurt Cepeda. Lamont Roach ain't no fucking devastating puncher like that. So William Cepeda might, tap him the fuck up because he just want to sit there and trade with niggas. And I ain't gonna lie, that sequence where he let Isaac Cruz, get all those punches off and he don't respond to end the round, that's some low IQ shit. Because high IQ fighters know they need to win every second of every round. Arnold Barbosa, when he fought Kenneth Sims, whenever Kenneth Sims had a moment, what Arnold Barbosa do? Get that shit right back. You know what I mean? Kenneth Sims will probably land a good left hook right hand. And that probably snap Arnold Barbosa head back. But guess what Barbosa do? Oh, okay. Come right back to it. Let off a combination to take the judge's mind off of that one particular situation. That's high IQ shit. Shout out to Arnold Barbosa. And I said this already, but I'm gonna say it again. When Bill put out that video telling Lamont to do the Devin Haney, a lot of niggas laughed at that. That was some fucking sound advice. What Bill was trying to say is, nigga, stop trying to prove that you this warrior. Stop trying to prove that you this gangster in the ring, bro. Show these motherfuckers that you can box. Do the Devin Haney. Box. Show your intelligence. Show your footwork. Show them that you're the more gifted fighter, the more versatile fighter. Barbosa versus Norman Jr. Book it. That's a great fight. I like that fight. And I'm sure Barbosa would take it. Barbosa, he be taking all challenges. I would like to see Barbosa get that. Well, never mind. I'm gonna say Jack Catterall now. Jack Catterall need that back, if anything. He beat Jack Catterall, right? Yeah, Barbosa, he's stacking up a nice little resume. Barbosa versus Norman Jr., though, that's a good fight. I feel like Arnold's probably the smarter fighter, but Norman's probably the more he's probably the more gifted fighter. So that's gonna be interesting. Arnold Barbosa ain't the most exciting fighter. He doesn't have the biggest fan base. He doesn't have the most appealing style, but he's very intelligent. Very intelligent. I think Barbosa's IQ is better than Norman's, but I think Norman is the more dangerous fighter. Explosiveness, power, counter punching, put your lights out type shit. Strong with both hands. Barbosa had to be very, very disciplined to fight and beat Brian Norman Jr. You sit in that pocket too long, nigga might send your motherfucking dome to Saturn, nigga. You gotta be careful with a nigga like him. Because niggas can't get Sasaki'd. You know what I mean? I was going to get into the Shakur-Haney back and forth, but bro, I'm going to keep it real. I don't care. You know what I mean? Y'all keep them questions rolling. And I probably got like 10 more minutes on here. We don't know if Norman that sharp with Ronnie Shields. That's my concern right now. Yeah, that dude Wagner he ain't stick around long enough for Brian Norman to show his new tools. You feel what I'm saying? I don't really see. I didn't see too much. Like it had, shit just went south off the rip. Niggas tired of Shakira. It's just too much. I obviously, this is a boxing channel, so of course I want to come on here and talk about, hot topics. You know what I mean? Speak about shit that's currently relevant in the sport. But it's like it started feeling like TMZ after a little bit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, oh, this person said this, and it's like we over here clocking tea and shit. Nigga, like I don't feel right as a man. Just be like, oh, you heard what Shakur said? You know what Shakur said to Dev? You know what Dev said to Shakur? You heard what Bill said to Shakur? It's like, no, bro. It gets to the point where I was like, bro, what we doing, bro? Because niggas just here to talk, bro. Ain't nothing worth speaking about. You feel what I'm saying? This nigga Shakur said he not coming up. Dev said he ain't coming down. Let these niggas go about their way then. Keyshawn gonna take Shakur smoke. You know what I mean? Shakur sending another nigga to aisle 9 to do a cleanup. You know what I mean? He already sent, Ray. He sent Ray to aisle 4. You know what I'm saying? Shit ain't work out for him. You know what I mean? The nigga was unable to accomplish the task at hand or accomplish the objective at hand. You know what I'm saying? He gonna send Keyshawn over to Devin Haney's aisle. We're gonna see what happens. But it's gonna look real crazy if Ray loses the shot and then this motherfucker Key loses the Dev. It's gonna be like everybody just falling apart over there in this, over in the Shakur stable. You feel what I'm saying? Left hand Monty said I'm over boxing low key to a Boots fight. That's something definitely to look forward to. I'm looking forward to Ben's fight this weekend too. Love watching Ben fight. Just Man, I just wish that he was bigger, man. Like if this motherfucker was a welterweight, niggas would be in trouble. So like it's almost like when they said we just lucky that Allen Iverson was a 6'6". You feel me? Like if Ben was actually a bigger dude, like a 47, 54, oh my God. Niggas would be in trouble. But Bam is just a really exciting fighter, man. He just has the perfect style to be entertained by. He's giving you the elusiveness, you know what I mean, that could leave fans in awe. He got a great jab, good accuracy. He's one of the most accurate punchers in the sport today. Good counter punching. Just real calm, real relaxed. The angles are absolutely beautiful. Knockout power, good finishing ability. Uh, uh, he even came off the canvas before and came back and got the knockout. Like this good body puncher. You know what I'm saying? Like Bam is just yeah, even if Bam was at 126, 130, yeah. That'd be phenomenal. I just wish he was bigger. But one thing about Bam is he's a small guy, but he's calling out Naoya Inoue. He said he want to beat his brother first. He said he wants to beat Tacoma, and then he wants to go up and beat Naoya after that. Because he said Bam wants to retire early, kind of like Robert Garcia did. I wonder if he was inspired by that. Robert Garcia retired in his early 30s, I think. But yeah, he retired. I know Robert Garcia for a fact retired really early. So he want to get as much shit done before he hang the gloves up. I respect it. Who you got, Brandon Figueroa or Rafael Espinoza? I think Espinoza will fuck Brandon Figueroa up. You got Nello and Billy. That's a good one, man. I think that's fight of the year. That's a fight of the year candidate, possibly. You got to see the fight happen, obviously. But this may be a very tough fight for Canelo Alvarez, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. Under the assumption that Billy doesn't come to lay down or doesn't have too much respect for Canelo. Now, if Canelo has, because Canelo is a sharp counter puncher, you know what I mean? He got some good power, especially at 68. So if he's able to hurt Billy and get his respect, then it's going to be smooth sailing from there. I could just see Canelo outpointing Billy. But if we see the Billy that fought Lester Martinez, where, this motherfucker is conditioned to throw bombs for 12 rounds, high work rate, staying in your chest, just taking whatever shots you throwing and firing off combinations. Canelo is gonna be in trouble with that work rate, man. We got to keep it real, man. Look, T Bud said Canelo stopping Billy. I mean, Canelo ain't stopped nobody in I don't know how long. So the fact that you think he just gonna go out here and just stop Billy, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like he couldn't stop Jaime Munguia. He couldn't stop Edgar Berlanga. He couldn't stop John Ryder. He couldn't stop Canelo. He couldn't stop a nigga who moved up 2 weight classes. He gonna stop Billy? I don't know. Canelo has trouble with dudes who have high work rate. And you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of his fight with James Kirkland. And we all know what he did to James Kirkland. Put him to bed. One of the best knockouts of Canelo's career, if not the best one. But before that all happened, James Kirkland was giving Canelo hell. And Canelo to this day says that James Kirkland is the hardest puncher he's been in the ring with. But James Kirkland's ferocity, his punch volume, his punching power, his relentlessness, his dog, his determination, even though the fight didn't last that long, he gave Canelo everything he was looking for. And Canelo looked a little fucking relieved after the fight. Looked like he was already, struggling with fatigue because of the work rate that, James Kirkland was operating at. Canelo the type boy that he ain't got the best stamina, especially at super middleweight. So he likes to pace himself. But if you're able to get him outside of that pace, he could fatigue early. And if you get Canelo tired and outwork him, you could beat him. I mean, if you could frustrate Canelo, outwork him, and get him to fight outside of his pace, and then he's tired. If you get him to fight outside of his pace, he'll gas by the mid rounds. We seen it. Bounce back say, you think Vargas getting stopped? Based off of what I've seen, yes. I think Antonio Vargas is going to get stopped. But like I said, I want to watch some better film on him. I want to watch more of his better performances so I can get a gauge for what he can possibly bring to the table if he's clicking properly. But based off of what I've seen, I can see Bam stopping him. Thoughts on Nick Ball versus MJ? Why Nick keep fighting 122 pounders? Maybe because the nigga's 5'2" and has trouble with them bigger guys. I don't know. Maybe the nigga don't want to fight bigger guys. Maybe he's too. I don't know. Maybe he just don't want to cut that weight to get down to them smaller weight classes. Maybe he's drained at them lower weight classes, but because he's so small, he has to, he has to fight smaller guys so shit could be more in his favor. He fought Brandon Figueroa, big ass, and got stepped on. Yeah, he thought he was catching Brandon Figueroa slipping. Brandon Figueroa got up for that fight. That's the problem. Sometimes a fighter ain't on the decline. Sometimes fighters just be unmotivated. Sometimes it'd be hard for them to get up for a fight. I mean, maybe they just had a bad day. You might have misconstrued a bad day with somebody being on the decline. You gotta be careful, man. Nick Ball and them was moving as calculated as could be. One thing about boxing is always gonna somehow, some way expose the truth. Oh, somehow, some way is gonna expose the truth. He's gonna find a way to humble you too. Canelo dropped Kirkland first round and stopped him in the third. Yeah, we know that. It was early. But look what James Kirkland did in the lead up to that. Canelo said that was one of his toughest fights, hardest punches he's been in the ring with. So the fight only went 3 rounds, like you said, but definitely shook Canelo up a little bit. Canelo had to fight through that because it was either that or he was gonna get punched on. James Kirkland, you couldn't play with niggas like him. It was like you had to get him out of there, or it was gonna be a tough night. Because James Kirkland was one of them type boys like, nigga, either I'm gonna get you get me or I'm gonna get you. So you choose how we gonna do this shit. Either way, we gonna rumble. You know what I mean? Like James Kirkland, motherfucking Burt Cooper, Subriel Matias, like them niggas at Ruslan providing the call. They just cut from that cloth. It's either you gonna get me or I'm gonna get you, bro. So you choose. Cause I'm okay with either outcome. That's a real warrior. So what you gonna do? You gonna let him whoop your ass or you gonna clip him? You gotta go get it. Canelo had to go get it. Punched him in his shit immediately. Canelo rocked his shit immediately. But what was so crazy was even though James Kirkland was getting punched on like that, getting wobbled everywhere, nigga was still trying to rumble. That's all he know. That's all he know. He said I would have ducked providing the cough. That's a nightmare, bro. Those styles is the worst, man. Niggas who don't feel your power, but then they punch really hard and then they pressure, they volume. Providing the cough was hell, bro. That nigga ruined Tim Bradley, man. That nigga took everything away from like his fighting. He took away Tim fighting spirit, nigga. So he couldn't talk straight for months. That nigga Tim said that he was struggling to talk for months off that fight. And what the fuck he said? Tim was like, "What round is this? The third round?" He's like, "No, nigga, we in the 10th or some shit like that." Like, nigga, what? What? Insane. Yeah, Ralph, Canelo was saying that he felt his power. He was like, I got to get Kirkland out of there right away. Yeah, because you ain't about to be sitting here and fucking with that. You're not about to be sitting there experimenting with that. Fuck, if I feel a nigga power and I see that they power is crazy just by catching it on the glove, whatever the case is, oh no, we gotta break you down. You a little bit, you know what I'm saying? You a little bit too much right now. We gotta bring you back down to earth. So it's either you break them down, take their power away, or you spark these niggas. Depends on what's available. The Spurs beat the Knicks 2-1. Interesting. Bradley said he still has after effects from that fight. I'm not surprised. Bro, all it takes is one fight to permanently damage you, man. I'm telling you. And Tim was never the same after that. I seen Tim get hit with shit early in his career that he just bounced back from like it was nothing. After he got punished by Provatnikov, it was a few times where I seen him get hit with light shots, but his body of like I remember when Jesse Vargas rocked Tim Bradley, had him on Queer Street. Like like his punch resistance wasn't there no more, man. His chin got a little brittle after that Provatnikov situation. That happens, bro. Your body can only take so much. Like we talking about James Kirkland. I remember when James Kirkland beat the shit out of Glenn Tapia. Glenn Tapia couldn't take a punch after that fight. I remember Gabe Rosado fought Glenn Tapia. And every time Gabe hit him, this nigga's body just turned off. I was like, what the fuck? This shit didn't even look normal. Trick said Provatnikov or Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia. Mikey would outbox Provatnikov. Mikey was more by the book than Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley got a little wild. He liked the exchange. He had a real sloppy style, to be honest with you. Mikey, everything was textbook. Keep the hands up, keep the jab on him, keep him at the end of your punches. You know what I'm saying? Mikey was more about a book. Mikey, you know, Mikey had the. I don't think Provatnikov ever got stopped, but Mikey had some decent power at 40. Wasn't his best weight. Um, but he has some decent power. I mean, I think he would outbox Provatnikov. If you had boxing ability, you know what I mean, he was disciplined defensively and all that, which Mikey was. Provatnikov, I think he would have got outboxed for sure. Al said if Mikey Hart was in it, he would have been better. That was just a job to him. Yeah, Mikey never really loved boxing. But look how successful he was just by treating it like a job. If he would have loved it, who knows where he would have went. But I do think after the Earl Spence fight, he got that little nice payday. You know, he just wasn't passionate about it no more. I don't think he was ever passionate, but I think that that Earl Spence payday, I think that took away a lot of his motivation. I'm gonna say that. But Mikey got a really good resume. Uh, 4 division champion, good wins, memorable moments, great style. One of the most underrated fighters of all time, in my opinion. I would have I would have loved to have seen him and Jorge Linares fight. I'm mad we didn't get to see that fight. Um, we didn't get to see him versus Vasyl Lomachenko, which I expected because of the beef between Mikey and Top Rank. I would have loved to have seen. Wasn't Mikey and Gamboa supposed to fight? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good one. I'm not sure. But yeah, Mikey got some good wins, man. Mikey was a beast at 135. 126, big puncher, 130, big puncher. Got a lot of knockouts. Then at 35, he got the nastiest knockout when he fought He fought that WB. He was a WBC lightweight champion at the time. His name was I'm gonna have to look it up. Forgot his name. But he put him to sleep. They gave him an oxygen mask and all. Dejan's Latishina. Man, he knocked Dejan's Latishina out. He countered him with a nasty uppercut. Dejan didn't see it, so he was wobbled. This nigga Mikey caught an angle on Dejan, and he with all his might with that right hook, put him to sleep. Woo-wee. Yo, that nigga went to bed. What saved Dejan was the fact that he landed on his shoulder. That nigga head would hit that canvas. I don't know what would have happened. He was on oxygen mask, and they had to take him out on a stretcher and all. Mikey got scared. Mikey thought he caught a body. Mikey a family man. He ain't trying to catch nobody for real. He loves cars more, baby. I mean, that's his passion. More power to him. He got my favorite car of all time. He got a Dodge Viper. That's been my favorite car since the GTA days. They call the Viper a Banshee. That's been my favorite car ever since I was a baby. Playing GTA when I was like 6, 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? Mikey got that junk. Yeah, Mikey, he set himself up where he don't need to come back to boxing. One of the most underrated businessmen to come across boxing too. Yeah, Adrian Broner, of course, was a good name. Robert Easter. Robert Easter was talking crazy to Mikey. Underestimated the shit on Mikey. I don't know why. Why would you play with Mikey Garcia? Like, if you did your research, you should know that Mikey's a fucking problem. I don't know who told him that was cool. But Robert Easter was never really a special fighter to me anyway. Tall, rangy, good jab, good speed, but his IQ wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I be trying to tell y'all, IQ is very important, man, because you can have all the abilities in the world, but if your brain not bringing those abilities to the next level, if there's like no intelligent mind behind those abilities, you're not going to go far. I never looked at Robert Easter as like a high level fighter. Yeah, former champion, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I never looked at Robert Easter as like this problem, this monster. Adrian Broner, he was already past it. But they both still good wins. Salido, no, Salido was a good win on Mikey's resume because at that time Salido was a problem. He beat Juan Manuel Lopez. That was a good win for Mikey. Sergey Limpinets, prime Sergey Limpinets. That was a hell of a fight. You got to watch that fight. That was a hell of a fight. Jesse Vargas is a good win for Mikey Garcia. He moved up to 47. He went to 47 for that fight. Good fight. Dropped Jesse Vargas and all. Good rumble. Rocky, I think Rocky, he body Rocky Martinez too. Slime, what up? I used to love the Nissan Skyline that Paul Walker had. Bro, you know what's so crazy, bro? My uncle got like 3 Skylines in his garage right now. If he was in Philly, I'll show you. And one of the ones he got is the same one that Paul Walker had, but it's silver. I actually don't know if he still got it. Last time I went over there, though, the Skyline was there. Then you got the Skyline that's on the steering wheel on the right side. He had like a purplish one. He had a silver one that he only brought out. It was a show car, so he didn't ever really bring it out all like that. Yeah, my uncle was very successful. He's a drag racer. And he was big on cars too. I gotta see which one he got. I wonder if he still got the silver one. I used to see that motherfucker all the time, bro. Shit was brand. That shit ain't have a scratch on it, bro. He only brought it out for like shows and shit like that, like car shows and stuff. I seen him driving around the block a couple times, but that shit was rare. I remember he drove it up my block one time. I was like, oh shit, that shit sound crazy. Yeah, he had like 3 of them Johns. He had like the purple John, like I said, silver John. I think he had another one. I forgot though. Rather had that than a Maybach. I ain't really impressed by Maybachs. I ain't gonna lie. They nice looking though. I like how the way Maybachs look. I seen this all black Wraith. It's like, woo, that shit look nice. They're in Brewery Town. That's a section in Philly. Shit was nice. Philly be having some crazy cars too, man. Good John. Earl big ass couldn't stop a sick Mikey. Well, Mikey ain't never been stopped. And Mikey used to spar niggas like Edwin Valero and not get stopped. He was a young bull. So some motherfuckers is adorable, some motherfuckers is durable, and some motherfuckers is intelligent enough to know how to survive. And that's what Mikey did. I didn't really see Mikey take that many chances. You know what I'm saying? And I think Mikey said he got hit with a body shot. He didn't like what he felt. So I think Mikey just went into survival mode. Earl was just too big for him, man. That happens. You feel what I'm saying? One thing about Mikey, though, he kind of got in this space where Keyshawn Davis and like Cool Boy Steph is at right now, where they just didn't want to cut weight no more. So they fought wherever they felt comfortable at. I remember when Mikey wanted to fight Miguel Cotto at 154. That's anything. But these dudes get to a certain age, but a lot of people, this is what I'm gonna sign off with. A lot of people don't understand how much anxiety it gives a fighter to cut weight, how traumatic of a situation that is, especially if they're coming from a high weight. It's a very traumatic situation. So after a while, your mind gets, fucked up over going over that process over and over and over again. Some motherfuckers mentally tap out and just be like, yo, bro, like, I ain't doing this shit no more. Like, and then once they get a feel for how it feels to move up in weight, that's like an addiction. That's like an addiction. Cotto at 54, Mikey had heart. I think Mikey just wanted some bread. Plus, at that time, Cotto was already on his way out. You know what I mean? That's when he fought Saddam Ali and Saddam beat him. Cotto tore his bicep. Cotto was done. Cotto did his little farewell fight, and Mikey was trying to get that opportunity. Let me see if I can find that shit. Niggas ain't been watching boxing that long. But I remember Mikey called for it on social media. See, it says in late 2017, 4-division champion Mikey Garcia and Hall of Famer Miguel Cotto seriously discussed a 154-pound fight. Cotto's team offered Garcia a lucrative purse, $2.5 million total for what would have been Cotto's retirement bout. Ultimately, Garcia turned the offer down. I didn't know that. I did not know that. I wonder why he turned it down. Oh, see? This is what they don't tell you. The ESPN report on the negotiation revealed that Garcia would have made $200 million plus a $500,000 win bonus. However, the bout was contingent, which means relied on Garcia signing a multi-fight promotional contract with Golden Boy Promotions, which he declined to do. See how they try to get you? Mikey went through that traumatic ass situation with Top Rank. Goes like, man, I ain't signing with a nigga ever again. I'm gonna be my own promoter. Fuck that. I'm gonna manage my own career. And they was like, yeah, I mean, we could, you could fight Cotto, but you're gonna have to sign with us and we could give you you could win up to between 2 to 2.5, but you gotta sign a multi-fight contract with us. Nope. Good for Mikey. Try and line Mikey up. But anyways, I'm going to get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and show love as always. If I can go ahead and hit the like button on the way out, that'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We want to the 3,500 mark. Looking to crack that 3,600 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. I'll be back at y'all with another live tomorrow to continue cooking up on what's going on in the boxing world. Until then, hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.